Alrighty, thank you everyone for being here today. Are you all excited to be here? Yes, exactly. Thank you all for coming out here today. We've got only 21 days left until Election Day, and we're going to need everyone out there working hard so we can flip the 39th. Are you ready? Joining us today in order to help us flip this and get this kicked off, we have Congressman Mark Takano, who's joining us today, and we have the President of the Human Rights Campaign, Chad Griffin. Thank you very much. And without further ado, let's turn it over to the Congressman.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm so pleased to be here for a kickoff for phone banking and canvassing on behalf of equality, and I'm glad to be here with Chad Griffin in support of Gil Cisneros for Congress. So I'm going to tell you, I'm eager to work with Gil because when we get in the majority, and trust me, we need the majority to pursue a full equality, full LGBT equality agenda. And let me tell you, when they control the gavel, when Republicans control the gavel, they control what gets to the floor. And one piece of legislation that I know will pass if we get the gavel, even with some Republican votes, is the Equality Act. My friend David Cicilline has worked hard to build the coalitions inside the Congress among all the different ethnic caucuses. Nearly every single member of the Democratic caucus has signed on to the Equality Act. And I'm so very proud. That's going to mean protections for LGBT people in the workplace, in the many states where they can still get married on Saturday, post their pictures up of their wedding and same-sex marriages on Sunday, and then be fired on Monday because it's still legal to fire people in this country for who you are. That must end, and Gil Cisneros is coming to Congress to help end that. So who is Gil up against? He is up against someone who is really Donald Trump's apprentice. We need to get that out there, that all the things she's now saying, the tune that she's now singing, different from what she did to get through a primary, a Republican primary. She was telling people in the primary that, you know, she was so proud that her family came here the right way, and, you know, really disrespecting those dreamers who came here through no fault of their own, and who, you know, 70% of the American people want to see a solution for. Do you think we can count on young Kim to stand up for our dreamers? No. Heck no. Do you think we can count on do you think we can count on someone who's Donald Trump's apprentice to stand up against the anti-immigrant voices in the Congress? No. No. So we need a true leader, someone who's going to fight for higher income, bigger paychecks, for protecting the Affordable Care Act, protecting pre-existing conditions, people from being discriminated against for having pre-existing conditions, to having we must do that. So we cannot count on the judiciary, the Supreme Court, to be protector of our rights and to interpret the Constitution in a way that truly makes us fully included, LGBT people I'm talking about, in a future America. We therefore need to take the political branches. We need to start by taking the House of Representatives, and that means sending Gil Cisneros to Congress. So I'll say it in another language. Están listos. Están listos para ¿Están listos para ganar esta election? All right, partly in English, partly in Spanish. All right. Thank you for turning out for Gil. We are going to win this election.
Thank you very much, Congressman. Thank you so much for leading the way in Congress.
I just recognize who you are. Thank you for being here and supporting Gil. You're amazing.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I'm happy to do it, happy to do it. And you know who else is supporting Gil here today? We're going to hear from Chad Griffin.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for being here today. I just want to thank Congressman Takano, who is fighting this fight every single day, fighting for all the constituents of his district, fighting for them equally, by the way, for every last one of them. He fights that fight in Congress. We need more members of the California delegation to join him and to be a colleague in fighting the fight for equality and for health care and for immigration rights. We don't have enough of those representing this state. We have an opportunity in this district. You know what? It was 10 years ago since Proposition 8 passed in California. What did this state do? What did LGBTQ people and our allies do? They took to the streets. I was at that 10 years ago at what was deemed a candlelight vigil, and folks were lighting their candles, and everyone started throwing them on the ground. Because no, they wanted to take action. They wanted to register folks to vote. They wanted to march. And look what California did. You took down that hateful ballot measure and helped to fuel marriage equality all across this country. And that's what's happening now in this district. With the insanity that you see coming from this president and vice president on a daily basis, attacking people of color, attacking DACA recipients, attacking LGBTQ people, attacking women, on and on and on. But you know what? This is where we have power over them. This is where we have the power. They don't have you. They don't have an army, a grassroots army of folks that are showing up to knock on doors for Gil Cisneros, to make phone calls for Gil Cisneros. They don't have that on their side. We have the grassroots army. I want to give you a few numbers. There are an estimated 1.4 million LGBTQ voters in the state of California. 1.4 million. You add our allies to that, we are millions and millions of voters all across this state and in every district. So LGBTQ people, API voters, Latino voters, we can truly decide if we're going to have a pro-equality champion who supports the Affordable Care Act, who supports immigration reform. We're either going to have that, or we're going to have someone who's been attacking LGBTQ people for her entire career. I could go through so many of the things that she said, but they're offensive, quite frankly. So I'll just focus on one view she has. She actually believes being LGBTQ is a choice. Who believes that today? Certainly someone who wants to be a public policymaker, a legislator, shouldn't hold that view. She represents the most extreme right views. She does not share the values of this state. She does not share California values. She does not share the values of this district. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Are you ready to pull the emergency brake on this president and vice president? Yeah? And are you ready to make the Equality Act the law of the land? And are you ready to make Gil Cisneros the next member of Congress from California? All right, join me in welcoming him.
So are we going to win this? Yeah! Are we going to win? Yeah! Are we going to bring equality to California and to the rest of the country? Yeah. Are we going to lead by our example? Yeah. Yes. You know, I am so excited right now. I want to thank Congressman Takano and Chad for your inspiring words and for your support of my campaign. When my staff told me human rights campaign, they want to come and they want to hold a canvas day for you. I was like, let's do it. When can we do it? It can't be soon enough. Because this is a great organization, and I'm proud to have their endorsement, and I'm proud to have the endorsement of other organizations like them, including Equality California, Stonewall Democratic Club, and the Honor Pack. Because when I go to Washington, I'm going to work with Congressman Takano to make sure that we pass the Equality Act. That's going to be job one. The other things that we're going to pass as well, the common sense gun legislation. All right? Yeah. And the other organization that we reached out to and that we supported, this is a donation that my wife and Jackie gave, was to the Pride Fund, right? Which is fighting this issue, not only standing up for equality for the LGBT community, but also fighting for common sense gun legislation. These are two things that affect all of us, and we all need to continue that fight, and we're going to take that fight to Washington to make sure we pass those things. We're going to pass immigration reform as well, right? We know that, right? Some of the most, well, I should say one of the biggest groups that have been discriminated against, our undocumented transgender community coming to this country. It's just horrible, the discrimination that they have to face, and we need to change that. I remember the president at the Republican convention, when he was accepting the nomination, in his speech, said he was going to stand up and protect the LGBTQ community. All right? I think we all knew, then, we know now for sure, he was lying through his teeth. Lying through his teeth. And he continues to lie. Don't ask, don't tell. I actually saw a sailor, one of my fellow officers, being taken off of the ship because he was exposed for who he was. This was a man that did a great job, was a great officer, earned his warfare pin, did everything that was asked of him. But yet, they told him he couldn't serve his country at that time. So I made that decision early on in my naval career that if I encountered any other sailors, I was going to stand up for them. And I had sailors come up to me, people that worked for me and that I worked with, that told me who they were. And I protected them. It may have been the wrong thing to do according to the naval regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which governs the military, but I knew it was the right thing to do for them. And Jackie and I have three godchildren. Three godchildren that that we love and we care for very much. One of them is actually just not that long ago just received a bone marrow transplant because he found out that he was born with this pre-existing condition where he has a rare blood disease. And so, his family now is worried about, protecting him with his pre-existing condition, making sure that they can have the insurance to cover him as they go future, and he's going to need further treatments. His parents, who was a gay couple that we know, that was one of Jackie's best friends, that she was the best woman at his wedding, they are our godchildren right now. And we are going to make sure that we protect the diversity of the American family, because we cannot let it be defined how the Republicans want to define it. We are going to change that, and this is why the Equality Act is so important. This is why we need to stand up to Donald Trump, and we need people that are going to hold him accountable in Washington. Because I can tell you one thing, I can guarantee you, my opponent's not going to do it. She's not going to stand up to him when it comes to protecting the LGBTQ community. She's not going to hold them accountable when it comes to protecting health care or when it comes to protecting our undocumented students. So I want to thank you very much for your support. I want to thank you for being here today. I am committed and I am working my ass off to make sure that we win this seat, because I want to give the people of the 39th the representation that they haven't had in a long time. So thank you for being here, and let's go win this. Let's go win it. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Who's ready to walk? Who's ready to walk? All right, just as President Obama said a month ago, go grab your clipboard and get out there, and let's go make some history. Let's go.